It was 6:30 on a gray Monday morning when the clouds over Lagos opened without warning. Heavy drops drummed on rusty rooftops and turned the dusty streets into little brown rivers. Joy Adeyemi hurried along the narrow road that led from her one-room apartment to the main junction. She clutched her small nylon handbag to her chest, trying to keep the rain from soaking the uniform folded inside. Joy was 23, slim and bright-eyed, but worry sat on her face like a shadow. She had only 400 naira left, just enough for 2 Danfo rides, one to work, one back. If she missed the bus, she would be late again, and Miss Belinda would surely shout. The cafe where Joy served coffee and akara had strict rules. 3 days on the job, and she already had one late mark. She reached the covered bus stop and stepped under the corrugated roof. Water dripped from the torn edges like tiny waterfalls. A tired group of commuters waited, shoulders hunched, eyes half closed. The Danfo horn sounded in the distance. Joy let out a shaky breath. She was safe. Then she saw her. An old woman stood outside the shelter, drenched from head to toe. Her faded Ankara blouse clung to her thin arms. Her feet pressed into the cold, wet ground. Silver hair, loose and wild, stuck to her face. She carried no umbrella, no bag, nothing. The woman's lips trembled as she wrapped her arms around herself. Joy's heart squeezed. She glanced at the Danfo rolling closer, yellow paint streaked with mud. She felt the cafe clock ticking in her head. Late again, and you're gone. She felt the 400 naira note inside her bag. Bus fare or nothing. She looked back at the woman. Their eyes met, tired, gentle, pleading. Joy stepped out from under the roof into the hard rain. Cold water slapped her skin, but she kept walking. She pulled the small black umbrella from her bag, opened it, and held it over the old woman's head. "Mama, please, come under this. You'll catch your death," Joy said, voice soft. The woman blinked rain from her lashes. "My daughter, thank you, but I have no money for the bus. They will push me away." Joy swallowed. The conductor was already shouting, "Oh, Shodi! Chems! Enter with your money ready!" People hurried to climb aboard. Joy reached into her bag, fingers brushing her only note. She hesitated, felt the weight of her landlord's warning about late rent, but the thought of the trembling woman pressed harder on her heart. She pulled out the 400 naira and folded it into the woman's wet palm. "Take it, Mama. Use it for the bus and some hot tea." The woman stared at the note as if it were gold. "But you, my child? How will you go?" "I live close," Joy lied, forcing a smile. The truth was the cafe sat 5 long kilometers away. The Danfo jolted as passengers squeezed on. Joy guided the woman to the door, handed the conductor the money, and made sure she sat on the last empty seat. Rain drummed louder on the metal roof. The bus pulled away, splashing muddy water over Joy's shoes. She closed her umbrella and started walking. Each step sent cold water through the holes in her worn sneakers. Wind pushed rain into her face, but she kept going, hugging her bag to her chest. She whispered a quick prayer that God would dry her uniform before she reached Cafe Ember, and that Miss Belinda's anger would be small today. Yet, even as thunder rolled overhead and her feet slipped on wet pavement, Joy felt a strange warmth in her chest. She had only coins left. The rain was merciless, and she would probably be late, but she could not forget the look of relief on the old woman's face. For that single moment, kindness had felt worth every drop of water on her skin. 5 kilometers lay ahead, and an uncertain day beyond that, but Joy straightened her shoulders, breathed the cool, wet air, and kept moving toward the distant glow of morning traffic. Rainwater dripped from Joy's hair as she pushed open the side door of Café Ember. The clock above the counter showed 7:18 a.m. She was 18 minutes late. The rich smell of freshly ground coffee filled the small shop, but Joy's stomach tightened. Miss Belinda, the floor supervisor, stood near the pastry case, dark eyes sharp like needles. Belinda's heels clicked as she walked over. Her uniform was crisp, her makeup perfect, not a single strand of hair out of place. She folded her arms and frowned. Joy, again? Second time in 3 days. If you love walking in late, maybe you can keep walking, straight out the door. I'm sorry, Ma, Joy whispered. I had a delay. Belinda's eyes swept over Joy's soaked dress and muddy shoes. She sneered. Delay? Looks like you swam here. Now pick a towel, dry yourself, and get to work. One more slip and you're gone, understood? Yes, Ma. Joy hurried to the little staff sink, dabbing her uniform with paper towels. Her hands shook from the cold and from fear of losing the only job she had. The bell above the front door jingled. Customers drifted in, shaking rain from umbrellas. Joy grabbed the coffee pot and forced a smile as she moved from table to table. But her mind stayed on the old woman she had left on the bus. Was she warm now? Was she safe? 10 minutes later, the side door creaked again. Joy turned and gasped. The same old woman stepped inside, clothes still damp, gray hair sticking to her cheeks. She must have asked the driver for the address on the cafe napkin Joy had slipped into her hand. The woman shivered, looking lost among the bright lights and polished tables. Before anyone could push her away, Joy rushed over. Mama, come, she whispered. She led her through a narrow corridor into the tiny breaker room at the back. There were 2 plastic chairs and a folding table. Joy found a clean apron and wrapped it around her shoulders like a shawl. Then she tore yesterday's leftover bread into pieces and poured hot tea from the staff kettle. The woman's eyes watered as she sipped. My daughter, may God bless you, she said. Her voice was tired but gentle. Joy knelt beside her. Rest here, Mama. I'll come back each break to check on you. She slipped out to refill coffee orders, but Belinda had seen the doorway glimmer. The supervisor's heels tapped into the break room. A moment later, Joy heard Belinda's sharp voice. What is this filthy woman doing in my staff area? Belinda snapped pictures with her phone. You wait till Mr. Ethan sees this. Stray beggars stealing company food. Joy hurried back, blocking Belinda's camera with her hand. Please, Ma, she's cold. She didn't steal anything. Belinda pushed Joy's hand aside. We run a business, not a shelter. You think kindness pays rent? Watch how your kindness costs you a job. Belinda spun on her heel and strode out, thumbs already typing a message to the owner. Joy's stomach dropped. She squeezed the old woman's hand and tried to smile, but her voice came out small. Don't worry, Mama. Everything will be fine. Inside, she was not sure of anything at all. Mr. Ethan arrived just after the morning rush. He was young, well-dressed, and carried the confident air of someone in charge. Belinda met him at the door, pulling him aside before any customer could greet him. She showed him the photos on her phone. Sir, look, she said, lowering her voice. Your new waitress brought a beggar into the staff room. She fed her company food. She even argued when I told her to stop. Ethan frowned as he scrolled through the pictures. Where is this waitress now? Belinda pointed toward the break room door. Back there, hiding her friend. Ethan marched down the hallway. Joy stood beside the old woman, tightening the borrowed apron around her shoulders. She looked up as Ethan entered. Her stomach dropped. Joy, What is going on here? Ethan asked, voice cool. Joy swallowed. Sir, this woman was cold. Belinda stepped in. She fed her our bread and tea. She turned the break room into a shelter. Ethan raised a hand. Enough. Joy, this is a business. We cannot take strangers from the street and treat them here. You were late, and now this. I have no choice. Joy's heart pounded. Sir, please. You're fired, Ethan said. The words fell like heavy stones. Joy's knees felt weak, but she straightened her shoulders. She turned to the old woman. Come, Mama, she whispered. She took the woman's hand and walked past Belinda, past Ethan, and out through the side door into the cool, damp air. Rain had stopped, but puddles still dotted the street. Joy guided the woman to the small bench outside the cafe's window. I'm sorry, Mama, Joy said, blinking back tears. I only wanted to help. The old woman placed a gentle hand on Joy's cheek. My daughter, storms reveal true hearts. Do not cry. Joy forced a thin smile, but her chest ached. She had no job, no money for the bus home, and now one more later rent warning waiting at night. Yet she could not regret her choice. She would make the same decision again. The old woman reached into the pocket of her faded wrapper and pulled out a sleek smartphone. Joy blinked in surprise. The phone looked newer than anything she owned. Mama, you have a phone? The woman nodded. I must make a call. She dialed a number. Joy could hear the deep ring on the other end. After 2 rings, a man answered. Hello, Mum. Is everything all right? The voice was calm but worried. The old woman's tone turned firm. Ethan, my son, come to the cafe door at once. We need to talk. Joy's mouth fell open. Ethan? Her former boss? Yes, Mum, I'm on my way, the voice said. The woman ended the call and looked at Joy, her eyes kind. Stay here, my child. The rain may have stopped, but a different storm is about to end. Ethan pushes the cafe door open and steps outside. He freezes. On the bench sits the same ragged old woman he saw in Belinda's photos. Only now she is calling him my son. Joy stands beside her, confusion on her face. Mom? Ethan whispers, eyes wide. The old woman nods slowly. Her voice is low but sharp. Yes, Ethan. I dressed like this to see how your staff treat the weak. I found kindness in this young girl and cold pride in your cafe. She points to Joy's torn shoes. You fired the wrong person. Ethan's cheeks turn red. Mom, I didn't know. That is why it was a test, she says. Her words fall like small hammers. Fix it, or forget the money for your new branches. Joy looks from mother to son, shock still bright in her eyes. Ethan turns to her, swallowing hard. Joy, I'm very sorry. Please come back. Your job is waiting. Joy hugs her arms around herself. Rainwater drips from her hair again as a light shower begins. Sir, you believed a lie without asking me. That hurt. I need to think. She thanks the old woman for her kindness, then walks away under the thin umbrella. Ethan starts after her, but his mother stops him. Let her go for now, she says gently. Kind hearts do not change overnight. You must show her yours. That evening, Ethan stands before his bedroom mirror. Gone are his smart jacket and shiny shoes. He pulls on faded jeans, an old sweatshirt, and worn sneakers with fraying laces. He grabs a scratched motorcycle helmet, the visor dull with age. If Joy will meet him again, it must be as an ordinary man, not a boss with power to hire and fire. Next morning, Joy enters a small printing shop to make more copies of her CV. She steps out holding a brown envelope when a battered motorcycle sputters up. The rider lifts his helmet. His face is partly hidden behind dust goggles. "Sister? Heading toward Igbosari? I can give you a free lift," he offers. Joy hesitates, but her feet already ache. "Thank you, brother. I have no fare left." "No worry," he says, smiling. "My name is Tunde." She climbs onto the back, holding her envelope tight. As they weave through traffic, Tunde asks if she is job hunting. Joy explains she lost her cafe work after helping an old woman. "She was so cold," Joy says, voice soft in the wind. "I would do it again, even if it costs me more." They stop near a busy junction. Joy climbs off, thanking him. She reaches into her small purse, finds only 200 naira, her lunch, but presses it into his hand. "For fuel," she says. Tunde shakes his head. "I can't take your last money." "Please," Joy insists. "At least buy Puff Puff." She leads him to a street cellar and buys 2 hot balls of dough. Steam rises in the cool air. They lean against a wall, eating. Joy laughs for the first time since yesterday. Tunde watches her, heart heavy and warm at once. This girl shares even when she lacks. He knows now what his mother saw. He pulls the helmet back on. "Thank you, Joy. We will meet again." She smiles, not knowing she has just given food to the same man who fired her, and to the man who will soon fight to win her trust back. 2 days pass. Joy prints more CVs, walks from shop to shop, but no one is hiring. Late Wednesday afternoon, her cracked phone lights up. "Hello, is this Joy Adeyemi?" a calm male voice asks. "Yes, speaking. This is Mr. Ojo, the senior manager at Cafe Ember. The owner asked me to call you. He wishes to meet tomorrow morning. He says it is important." Joy's heart lurches. She thinks of her last moments there, the sharp words, the shame, but she also thinks of unpaid rent. "I will come," she answers. Thursday, 8 a.m. The cafe feels different. Fresh flowers sit on every table. The air smells of cinnamon instead of only coffee. Staff whisper when Joy walks in. Belinda is nowhere to be seen. Mr. Ojo guides her up the narrow stairs to the small office above the kitchen. Ethan stands by the desk, dressed in simple jeans and a plain cotton shirt. Beside him sits the old woman, now in neat iroyuba, her silver hair brushed. She smiles when she sees Joy. Ethan's voice is quiet. "Thank you for coming." Joy nods, clutching her bag strap. "Sir, why am I here?" Ethan takes a breath. "First, Belinda is gone. We learned she lied about you and even took money from the pastry stock. She has been fired." Joy's eyes widen, but she stays silent. "Second," he continues, "I owe you an apology, no many. I judged you without listening. I also hid something from you." He looks at his mother, then back at Joy. "This is my mum. She tested the staff by pretending to be poor. You helped her. I failed her test." The old woman rises, holding a small bundle. "My daughter, you gave me shelter when I had none. You lost your job, yet you carried me outside with an umbrella." She unwraps the cloth. It is Joy's black umbrella, ribs mended, fabric washed clean. "Take this. We have fixed what you broke for kindness." Joy's throat tightens. She accepts the umbrella with trembling hands. "Thank you, Mama." Ethan steps closer. "Joy, I want you back, but not as a waitress. You have shown leadership and heart. Be our operations trainee. You will learn to run the whole cafe." Joy meets his eyes. Pain from that public firing still stirs inside her. "Sir, trust is like hot coffee. Spill it once. It burns. It cools slowly." "I know," Ethan says. "Let me brew it again, cup by cup. My mum and I will guide you." Silence hangs like steam. Joy breathes in the warm scent of cinnamon. She sees sincerity in Ethan's eyes, feels the weight of the repaired umbrella, a quiet promise. "I will return," she says at last. "But give me time. I will work hard, but my heart heals step by step." Ethan bows his head. "Time is yours." The old woman clasps Joy's shoulders. "Good seeds grow in patient soil, my child." Joy walks out of the office, umbrella in hand. The staircase feels lighter. Below, the espresso machine hisses, and for the first time in days, hope smells sweeter than coffee. Weeks turned into months, and Joy's life changed like dawn after a long night. Every morning she arrived before sunrise, tied her apron, and walked the floor with a small notebook. Ethan stayed close, but not too close, always ready to teach, never forcing trust. He showed her how to read cost sheets, speak with suppliers, and calm an angry customer with a gentle smile instead of loud words. One quiet Wednesday, after the lunch crowd left, Ethan called Joy into the office. He held a battered motorcycle helmet, the same one Tunde had worn. "Joy," he said, eyes soft, "I must confess something else." He told her about the free ride, the puff-puff, the name he borrowed. Joy listened, surprise rising like foam on hot milk. Then she laughed, really laughed, for the first time in weeks. "So Tunde was you," she said, shaking her head. "Forgive me?" "I already did," she answered. And in that moment, the last wall between them fell. By the 5th month, Cafe Ember opened a second branch. Mrs. Adebanjo cut the ribbon while Joy guided new staff through the menu. Customers adored her calm way and honest smile. When numbers went up, Ethan handed Joy a small envelope, her first bonus. She sent half to her widowed mother in Ibadan and saved the rest in a tin beside her bed. The 6th month brought the city's annual street food festival. Cafe Ember set up a bright stall glowing with fairy lights. The aroma of fresh cinnamon coffee mixed with suya smoke and popcorn. Joy wore a simple yellow dress instead of her uniform. It felt strange but beautiful. Music played as people danced between colorful tents. Ethan stepped onto a small wooden stage and tapped the mic. "Please, everyone, 1 minute," he said. His voice shook a little. Joy wiped foam from her hands and looked up. Ethan's eyes found hers. He walked toward her, heart loud in his chest. Mrs. Adebanjo stood nearby, cheeks already wet with happy tears. Ethan stopped in front of Joy and knelt. Gasps and cheers rose from the crowd. He opened a tiny box. Inside lay a simple silver ring shaped like 2 coffee beans joined together. "Joy Adiemi," he said, voice steady now. "You shared your umbrella, your lunch, and your kindness when I had given you nothing but trouble. Will you share the rest of your life with me?" Joy's eyes filled with tears that sparkled under festival lights. She remembered cold rain, empty pockets, and the warm smile of the beggar who was really a mother. She thought of long mornings, late nights, and cups of coffee brewed with hope. "Yes, Ethan," she whispered, then louder so all could hear. "Yes." The crowd clapped and whistled. Fireworks cracked in the sky, scattering gold against the night. Ethan slipped the ring onto her finger and rose. Joy hugged him. laughter mixing with tears. Mrs. Adebanjo wrapped her arms around them both. As music swelled again and friends crowded close, Joy looked up at the stars. She remembered the day she walked 5 kilometers in the rain, broke and unsure, yet certain of one thing: kindness was never wasted. Now she stood in a circle of light, wearing a ring shaped like 2 coffee beans, small, ordinary seeds that grow into something rich and strong. And she knew their story had only just begun.